You got more dye in that beard than Diddy wear.
All right, that's enough.
And I know.
That's enough.
'Cause I seen him. He shows me behind the curtain.
That's enough. All right, I'm gonna edit this out.
But still, put a note on it.
Hey, Kev, when you hosted for Diddy, did you catch any baby oil?
When I hosted for Diddy?
Yeah. Nah?
You asking the wrong person the wrong question.
Kevin Hart is keeping his distance as federal scrutiny intensifies around Sean Diddy Combs, following shocking revelations from newly surfaced wiretaps. The internet is on fire with speculation after old party footage pulled several big names back into the spotlight. As rumors spread faster than facts, silence from those involved is starting to raise eyebrows. The real question now: are these celebrities innocent bystanders, key witnesses, or unwilling participants caught in a storm they never
will come out in relation to these charges? He says the day will come, you said this, when you start naming names. When will that day be, and how big are these names that we're talking about?
Yeah, people are very interested in that, of course. That comment has been repeated back to me, as you might imagine, many times. And people are, waiting with bated breath, hoping that, I'm going to name these big celebrity names. But I can tell you this, I look at it in this context. If you attended one of these events, and we're talking about, we've heard about the white party and the freak-offs and the after parties, but there's also, impromptu parties at studios, after parties from concerts, album release parties, hotel parties. I mean, the list goes on and on. But in my view, if you attended those and you saw or knew that somebody was being given drugs, that their drinks were being drugged, and you sat by and either participated in some of this activity or encouraged this activity or allowed it to go on and helped cover it up, or were in the room while it was happening and said nothing and did not intervene, and perhaps attended more of these parties knowing that this type of
Kevin Hart has built his empire on discipline, resilience, and meticulous brand control, climbing from Philly comedy clubs to Hollywood's elite circle. Yet, newly resurfaced clips from a 2010 Diddy-hosted event at the London Hotel, including the now-viral bathtub scene, have cast an unwelcome shadow over his polished reputation. While no legal charges link his name to the scandal, public opinion rarely waits for courtroom verdicts. In a world where screenshots spread faster than subpoenas, the question looms large: how much context is enough to withstand the court of public opinion? Let's step into where legal speculation either turns into evidence or simply evaporates.
That's bigger than Diddy is only one that I could come up with. And there's a few I can come up with. Will Smith, he's bigger than Diddy. I would think Nick Cannon is bigger than Diddy. Who else on the black that are black actors or black in the business? There's an A-lister that's bigger than Diddy. That's black. That's hard to think. But then if you got the A-listers, you got to realize he ran with that that Rat Pack, and I don't want to even say their names, because they said I got their names wrong last time. What's his name? Kushner? What's the other guy? Leonardo? Yeah, his name. Man, I don't keep up with these cats. But I heard that that's not only the tape that's being shot. There's some other tapes out there, other people too with him. And him doing some things with some other people. So there's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they're hearing. And I don't want to see the tapes, but I want to know if they're really true. Because if they got if they got some tapes out there and it was some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be real crazy. And they're gonna have to bring that to the forefront because the prosecutor's gonna want those tapes. And they're gonna do whatever they have to do legally to get those tapes. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. So we just better hope on for his sake. That's just a bunch of bull crap. But then there's lawyers out there saying, yeah, the tape does exist. Lawyers got on television to say the tapes exist. I don't really know or trust that, because they was trying to say he had a tape with one of the bodyguards and this lady that came out. So we don't know what to think until we actually see that, and we get that version. You remember we had that bootleg version of R. Kelly tape?
Yeah, I remember that.
They don't even bootleg. Yo, they don't even bootleg no more, man. So it's going to be hard to figure it out if it does exist.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be you. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister and he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro. But this is the world that we live in now, man. That these individuals thinks it's all right. Bruh, when does it comes all right to be sitting there eating food off a naked woman? When did we start doing what they do? Let's keep it a buck. When did we start doing what they do? These guys is popping pills. We got
Federal agents have already carried out multiple raids, seizing electronics and piecing together a timeline of alleged trafficking, coercion, and exploitation that stretches back decades. While several indictments position Diddy as the central figure, investigations of this magnitude rarely stay confined to one name. If the rumored wiretaps truly capture voices beyond the accused, some familiar faces could soon shift from bystanders to material witnesses, or worse, implicated parties. In a case this expansive, no one close to the epicenter remains completely untouched. Attorneys like Tony Busby warn that a growing roster of public figures may soon be named in corroborated testimonies. With over 120 alleged victims, men, women, and reportedly minors, the accusations reach far beyond criminal conduct, striking at the core of societal and cultural power structures. Civil litigation is now being prepared with surgical precision, and each new filing could expose identities currently buried in sealed evidence logs. In a world where exposure itself has become a form of justice, the question remains, will Hollywood face a true reckoning or retreat into negotiated silence? For many, these revelations cut deep. Those exclusive parties and elite circles once symbolized status, but if the allegations prove true, participation came at an unforgivable cost.
Is that when a victim tells us that this person was in the room or this person participated, we want to do as much due diligence as humanly possible before we file that case, because in the United States, in almost every state, public filings are in fact public. And, when you name somebody in a lawsuit, the press is going to pick it up, and we're aware of that. So we're going to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's. And I expect that there will be some people named in these lawsuits that will raise some eyebrows.
Right. I mean, how big an eyebrow raise are we talking about? Because you've been hearing a lot of names, presumably, in the process of all these calls coming in. And you're a pretty smart lawyer, so you can probably work out the wheat from the chaff in terms of legitimate, plausible claims here in terms of victims. I mean, are we talking about names as big as Diddy, potentially?
I expect so. I expect so. Obviously those are the names that people are interested in, but I've tried to make sure people focus also on corporate entities, to include banks and hotels and perhaps even pharmaceutical entities that were maybe not directly involved, but were certainly benefiting and profiting from this kind of activity. Those I'm interested in as well. But we've seen all over social media the pictures and video of all the various individuals that attended these.
The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us, with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases.
The latest filings span nearly 3 decades, from 1995 to 2021, and detail different accounts of horrific assault. In 95, a woman says she attended a party for Notorious B.I.G.'s music video, One More Chance. It was there she claims Combs raped her in a bathroom. The woman said Combs brought her into the bathroom to talk privately and then began kissing her unexpectedly. She says she tried to pull away and he allegedly slammed her head into the wall, which caused her to fall to the floor. When she was on the floor, the producer allegedly hit her again, lifted her dress, and raped her. After, Combs allegedly threatened her by saying, "You better not tell anyone about this or you'll disappear." A John Doe says he was just 16 years old when the mogul fondled him at one of his white parties in 1998. The male plaintiff alleges Combs told him he had the look of a star and then ordered him to drop his pants. He claims Combs explained to him that it was a rite of passage to becoming a music star and allegedly asked him, "Don't you want to break into the business?" The then teen says he complied out of fear, anxiety, and the power imbalance he felt with Combs, and later realized what he says happened was assault.
This isn't just a wild claim from Jaguar. Several high-profile figures like Suge Knight and Dame Dash have previously spoken about Jay's involvement.
Invited her and a friend there for a party. Combs allegedly gave them drinks and told them to snort cocaine. The woman, who was a freshman in college, says Combs forced her friend to perform oral sex on him and threatened to kill them if they didn't comply. In 2006, another John Doe, who was a security guard at the now infamous white parties, claims he was sexually assaulted by Combs. The man says he began to feel extremely ill at the party after drinking 2 drinks with alcohol that were provided by Combs. The accuser says he was disoriented and alleges the Bad Boy Records founder forcibly pushed him into an open van, held him down, and sexually assaulted him. In 2008, another man claims he was sexually assaulted by Combs in a New York Macy's. This John Doe says he was an advisor at Echo Clothing, a competitor of the mogul Sean John clothing line. He claims he was in a stockroom at Macy's in Manhattan when Combs and 3 bodyguards entered. Doe alleges he was turning a corner in the stockroom when he was hit around the base of the neck, possibly with a pistol. He says this forced him to his hands and knees, and he saw that each of Diddy's bodyguards had guns in their waistbands. The man alleges he heard multiple voices saying things like, "I'll kill you." Combs allegedly approached the man and forcefully, brutally, and orally raped him for at least 2 minutes. According to the suit, after Combs was finished, he threw Doe's head aside and said words to the effect of, "Shut up or I'll kill you." And in 2021, another man claims he was drugged and assaulted by Combs and multiple other unnamed men at a party. This John Doe says he became disoriented after a drink at a New York party. He claims he was trying to leave when he heard another man say, "Hold on," and promised to help him. Doe says he remembers being in a bedroom, unable to speak, move, or fight back.
Celebrities once floated effortlessly from hot tubs to penthouses, while influencers whispered about the unspoken rules governing the nightlife elite. Now, old footage showing Kevin Hart alongside Diddy in lavish settings, once dismissed as harmless celebrity fun, is being re-examined through a darker lens. If those environments were tainted by misconduct, what does it mean for those merely present? Does being in the room without intervening signify innocence, ignorance, or silent complicity?
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and fucking took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one. Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened.
So, Jack, wouldn't you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died of an imaginary aneurysm, just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote...
Celebrities once floated effortlessly from hot tubs to penthouses, while influencers whispered about the unspoken rules governing the nightlife elite. Now, old footage showing Kevin Hart alongside Diddy in lavish settings, once dismissed as harmless celebrity fun, is being re-examined through a darker lens. If those environments were tainted by misconduct, what does it mean for those merely present? Does being in the room without intervening signify innocence, ignorance, or silent complicity?
But right now, I don't care if it's T.I., I don't care if it's Rick Ross, I don't care if it's Jay, I don't care if it's Snoop, I don't care if it's Game, I don't care if it's Dre. Nobody's stepping up.
To New York City. And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn some...
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's
In the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans, Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. They ain't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And what do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem. I had like,
what
like a living.
life.
Knocked unconscious and then was carried onto this plane that she didn't want to get on because she thought that something was wrong with it that led to her death is just crazy. There's also even more disturbing information about Aaliyah's pilot of that plane, and they said that he had just joined the program 2 days prior before the flight, and he wasn't even supposed to be the pilot on that flight.
Aaliyah was sitting in a taxi as her team and the flight crew argued nearby about whether or not to take off, and she complained of having a headache. Now, reportedly, a baggage handler nearby said that someone from her entourage gave her a pill. She took the pill, and that right after she fell into a very deep sleep. So deep, in fact, that she was carried onto the airplane still asleep and may not have even been aware that she was on the airplane. Now, we should say we don't know what that pill was. It could have been aspirin. Maybe she was just very tired from a long video shoot, and the baggage handler did say that she took it willingly, but it does reveal some new information about those final moments.
After the crash, investigators determined the small plane was carrying about 700 pounds over its limit, and this is important, the center of gravity was too far back in the aircraft.
The pilot did not want to make this trip, and he reportedly argued with Aaliyah's team because he thought that it was unsafe. So he did make those calculations, and he did decide that it was unsafe. However, after protracted negotiation, they went through with that.
I mean, you good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good? Selling out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh?
No,
you ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Right. Okay.
But the saying, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And we've been, stuck in that position for quite some time, trying to get to a place where we can prove what actually happened.
But is your belief now that Diddy may have been involved in that first shooting?
I don't know, Pierce. I don't know. Thus the investigation. None of us know. This is the best way for us to get some answers, to have an actual investigation into his murder, regardless of who was responsible or the who's that were responsible. And each incident involved multiple people, planning, coordination, and we just been trying to get to the bottom of it for a long time.
Why do you think there is so much suspicion around Diddy's involvement in Tupac's killing?
Because of the relationship, our relationship in the early days, how the relationship soured, the climate of the hip hop world at the time, the so-called East Coast, West Coast beef. There's a whole lot of reasons. And, us, my brother and I, our movement, we were at the top of the game, and they were right behind us. So, heavy is the head that wears the crown. People always are after the person that's on top. So there's a lot of reasons to have these theories and suspicions, and they just need to be vetted and fully vetted and figure out what's what. My family is still suffering fallout from the assassination of my brother's murder. Which nobody really cares about us. Me, my sister, my brothers, our family, we still suffer. So, the struggle continues on finding out the truth.
Where were you when you heard that your brother had been killed? And how did you find out?